He is Dale Jr., driver of the number 88 Nationwide National Guard Chevy, back on the program. How are you, Junior?
I'm real good. How are you?
I'm spectacular. Where are you right now?
I'm over at Hendrick Motorsports up in a conference room.
Do you have an office there, a man cave there?
I don't, but I do have a parking space.
What does it say, your name?
Yeah, it's reserved for Dale Jr. Well, the funny thing about it is when I got hired here in 2008, all the drivers had parking spaces. And the other day I was driving around here looking for mine, and it was gone. They'd given it away. So I tweeted about it, and now I got another one.
Wait, what happened? Aren't you the boss?
No, at Hendrick Motorsport, no. I'm just a driver. But I guess they needed my space, so they gave it away to somebody. But now I got a brand new one. It's right next to the boss man. So
Wait,
it's a good space.
So since you won this weekend, you got your parking spot back? You had to earn your parking spot?
Yeah, that's kind of how it works around here. They keep you honest.
Do you get a paycheck every week, every 2 weeks, like normal people do? How do you get paid?
I really don't know. That's a good question.
Well,
I don't know. I got an accountant that says it's all good, but yeah, I don't know when. I don't know how often. I guess maybe I get paid quarterly.
But are you on salary and then you get bonus? How do you don't know how you get paid?
Yeah, well, I know what my deal is. Like, I have a salary, and if we run, in the top 10, there's a certain percentage that you get of the winnings. If you run in the top 5, it changes. If you win, you get more. And depending, sometimes in certain contracts, your salary can be based on the amount of sponsorship dollars that your car has. So if that goes up and down, that can affect. Yeah, if that goes up and down, because your job really depends on how you represent your sponsors, and if you do a great job at that, you get paid more. So,
it was an emotional win for you, or at least it appeared that way watching the post-race coverage. Why was it so emotional for you?
I hadn't. I don't really get too. I don't really get too bothered or let myself get too affected by certain milestones like my dad's birthday or the day he passed or, certain things like that are, milestones or moments in his life. I really, those kind of come and go for me, and they have for the last several years. But I don't know, just ever since I joined Twitter, it's allowed me to see certain things that you just don't have, you're just not placed in front of on a consistent basis. And so when Dad's birthday came, I was seeing all these people talking about him on Twitter, and a lot of the things that I saw were from friends in the industry, his peers. Just it's and the one thing I always worried about when he died was that the older I got and the further we got away from that time, the more people might sort of forget or his impact on the sport will get a little bit more and more diluted or lessened or less recognized. So I was kind of worried about that because I was so proud of him and what he was able to do. And I always want people, one of the coolest things is just to hear people talk about that. And so when I was seeing all this stuff on Twitter for his birthday, all these people were acknowledging him and saying what a great impact he was and how important he was on the sport and for them personally. That made me feel really good. So, I don't know, I had all that stuff kind of bottled up, and he had so much success at Talladega, and I've had some success there, and I hadn't won there in a long time, and I think, it feels like that if there's one track where, we have the most supporters, it seems like it's always, Talladega's always felt that way. Like there's just so many Earnhardt fans there. Mm. It felt like that way when Dad raced there. It's like there was so many Earnhardt fans there compared to other racetracks. But and they've just came there year after year and seen us either come close or be disappointing. And so it was great to, send them home happy, man. I mean, that's what they come here to see is us do well and win the race. So just a lot of relief. and a lot of emotion over Dad and his birthday and all that stuff going on the last week. So I don't know. It just kind of caught up to me, and I'm usually don't really get like that, but kind of got me there, overwhelmed me a little bit.
You said that you're racing differently. Yeah, now I'm paraphrasing what you said after the race, but it felt like you're going for it now. Like you're not conservative, and I'm using my own words here. But what did you mean by that? You're kind of going. You're racing like your dad used to. Is what I thought you were saying. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I was last year. I think it was last year, but we were racing at Talladega, and I was kind of mired in the pack. It was about a pack of 20 cars, and we were coming down the last few laps. I made a move that didn't work for me, and I decided I got real frustrated, and I pulled out of the pack and went to the back, and I was betting on the pack wrecking before we crossed the finish line, and it didn't happen. And I finished 26th with a perfectly fine race car, and I just was so ashamed. I was embarrassed and ashamed, and I learned a really, really hard lesson in that race. And it happens. I wasn't, I sometimes you learn hard lessons, and I certainly learned one that day. And I feel like that I learned. I feel like that in plate racing in particular, I have to race one way all day long. I can't run conservatively for part of the race and then switch it on at the end and expect to make all the right decisions. I have to start the day and run it all the way through with one goal and one objective, and just be that way every lap. Because every time I've tried to, just show up and be around at the end, when I get there at the end and it's time to make all these moves, I don't make the right ones, and I make too many bad choices because I'm not seasoned in understanding what's working that day and what's not working. So every time I've been successful at the plate tracks, I've ran like it's the last lap every lap. And it's just the way I felt like I had to run that day, and it worked out. Sometimes it doesn't, but more often than not, it does.
But are you conservative by nature? Like, do you fight that?
I don't know that I'm conservative by nature. I feel like I'm a more of a thinker as far as a race car driver. I feel like I'm a smart driver. Dad was real aggressive. Dad had that intimidating style and nickname, and he lived up to that persona, and that was him every day, and how he raced on the track. And he wasn't he never was the kind of guy that outthought everybody, and he wasn't the clever guy, the sly guy. He was just aggressive and running hard and pushing and shoving. And I'm a little bit more like maybe Darrell Waltrip or David Pearson or some of those guys that are a little smoother and thinking about the decisions they're making and trying to be smart and clever about what's happening on the racetrack and knowing when to sort of pick your battles. And another thing too is you can only be so aggressive depending on the car. If you're not fast, there's no reason to be pushing and shoving everybody out of the way, because they're just going to run over you. If you can, it's easy to be aggressive when you can get away from them after you've run over people. But if your car's not good enough to get away from them, no need to be shoving them around, because they're just going to run you back over. But when your car's fast as hell, you can be much more aggressive with the car.
He's Dale Earnhardt Jr. joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Did you watch the draft with your Redskins? What'd you think?
I did. I was, the first day I watched, and I thought those were two good picks. They drafted a lot of guys with some history of, knee problems and a lot of surgeries and repairing some knees. So I'm a little concerned just about durability. But the second day, we were working, so I didn't really get to keep up with all the particular picks. But me and Matthew Berry, that works for the ESPN Fantasy Football, we stay in touch, and he's a big Skins fan, so he's sending me and emailing me all this information on all the picks, and so I can get up to speed and learn who these guys are and sort of know what to expect from them as far as what they can deliver and how they can fit into the team. But
it's going to be a long year for you.
Huh?
It's going to be a long year for
you. What's that?
It's going to be a long year for you.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry. I got to be honest with you, Junior. It's going to be a long year.
You can't fix – I know, but you can't fix everything in one draft. But I think the new GM did a good job, and I feel like that if he can stick around and we will let him do his thing, that he can patch these holes over time. I mean, he did a great job in San Francisco, and he was part of rebuilding Seattle. So I feel like if they give him the opportunity to hold the reins, that he can do it.
Could you buy the Redskins?
No. I don't. It's kind of like being an owner of a race team at the highest level. I don't know whether I want that responsibility. And looking at how, every fan base is pretty devoted and passionate. I don't know that I would want that responsibility for the wins and losses. I've seen what Dan's had to go through, and the responsibility as an owner is a little more than I'd want to be a part of.
Well, you might not be as much of a fan, and at least there's distance between you and the Redskins. If you're there in the front office, it's every day. It's highs and lows and wins and losses, and that would take a toll on you.
Well, that's what if I bought it. Yeah, but if I bought it, I definitely want to be in there. I wouldn't want to be an absentee owner.
What about Rick? Rick could buy it, right? He's got enough money, right?
I don't know. He probably wouldn't tell us the truth.
Yeah, maybe you could just go in together. You put in just a little bit.
I don't think I have I definitely know I don't have that kind of money, but
he might.
I don't know. I think. Yeah, I don't know. No, it's worth billions, right? Yeah. Hundreds of millions.
Yes,
yeah, I'm not there.
A whole lot. So no engagement yet, right?
Not yet.
It's coming, no.
Not yet.
It's coming.
We're going in that right direction.
Yep, I like it.
I don't know how to. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know. I want to say the right words because I don't want to upset Amy. But yeah, we're going. Everything's great.
Good. Do you do it? But we have to come up with a creative way to do it, Junior.
Oh, well, of course.
Okay, this is what I'm thinking. She puts on the headset, and during a race, maybe even during a caution, you ask her if she will marry you.
Man, that's pretty creative.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that is pretty good.
All right. Well,
that's good. I'm surprised
that I came up with it.
I'm surprised that you came up with something so good. That's pretty good.
Junior, I know love. I know sports and I know love. Not in that order.
Who doesn't love love?
Yeah, I know love. Believe me. All right. Okay. Congrats on the win. Good to talk to you again.
All right, man. You too. Take care.
Thank you, Junior. That's Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 Nationwide National Guard Chevy. There you go. What about that?